Guitar Friends, episode 43.
We're laughing because we just came from
1
42.
minute ago, and you know what? I don't even have the song queued up, so we'll splice it in here.
Guitar Friends is on. Maybe you're in your car or mowing your lawn. Just turn it up. The Guitar Friends are on. The greatest podcast about guitar is on. As long as you don't count all the ones that have big guests and are very intentional about actually having guitar-related conversations. Ooh, Guitar Friends is on. This is Guitar Friends. With HW, Susan, John too. It's mostly about guitar, but also some other stuff will be discussed too. But it's most about guitar, unless we get distracted and talk about food or Teslas, or how annoying it is that Californians keep moving everywhere and bring their terrible ideas and ruin their state to Nashville. But no swing guitar.
What are we doing?
Amazing.
What are we doing during that time?
Amazing. Well,
was that the whole song?
Slideshow?
Well, it can be maybe the clip of us dancing from a previous one.
We do have the video of the guy dancing.
I sure hope that there's
There
not
you
a
go.
video of me dancing that you could pull from.
AI is a
You
hell of
are-
a drug, John.
Yeah.
Hell of a drug.
That was well played. Oh man! Hey, this
AI.
is sort of interesting. So, speaking of AI, so I started playing at this new church.
Yes.
and it's
An
a
AI
Baptist-
church?
Well, it's a Baptist church,
It's an AI
and
AI pastor.
it's very close. And we would wrote. It's like a hymn, and we wrote an extra chorus on it, like when we were together last time.
Yeah, right.
And so he sent it over. I put some guitars on it. We've been going back and forth. And he sent it back again. And it wasn't him singing. It was like a gal singing. And I was like, I wrote back. I was like, your voice really sounds different. I just thought it was his friend from his church. He's like, you like that AI voice? And I was like, haha, yeah. He was like, that's an AI voice.
Wow.
Yeah.
He put it over on top of our song that we were,
Yeah.
are in Logic or whatever. And I was like, had to check again.
I kind of want to listen to this.
I picked up that it wasn't a great singer. It was
never
just
mind.
kind of
I don't wanna
pitchy a
listen to
little
it
bit,
anymore.
whatever. And it was like, you have to rethink everything. He's just
So
okay,
it had
so
to
all of
learn.
That was
So he
generated.
put up. I wonder if from his vocal track, it was able to generate it with other voices. That must
Was
be
it
the
the
easiest
same?
way to do
Was
it.
it the same melody and everything?
same
that he
lyrics,
was,
same melody, everything. It was just a woman singing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and then I thought maybe he was messing with me, and I was like, oh, okay. And then he said, no, I just wanted to hear it with a woman. I didn't have someone to come in and sing it, so I just had AI do it. How does it sound in a different range? I was like,
Dang.
that is nuts.
I guess if we Googled that,
Was it like
probably
an
just there.
octave or was it a different key altogether too?
It was the same notes that he was singing, so maybe when it was high for him, it was kind
Right.
of low for her.
Yeah. Tomlin sings in B
Yeah.
all the time
Yeah.
on the records, and then live they do it in A or G because it's so,
So
high.
true.
You could put a girl there easily
Yeah,
on
right.
most of those Tomlin songs.
Just sings a little lower.
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah.
But then it's like AI; she can sing wherever she wants,
Right.
no limit.
Totally.
Yeah. So it's kind of crazy. Anyway,
Weird.
Yeah. That's
Now I
weird.
want to put vocals on all the Metal Junkie demos.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
you could just sing a scratch and then just say, "Here, make this actual vocal." Wow.
What would the lyrics be?
I don't know. I'd have AI make those too.
Would they be about the packs like Leviathan?
Ow,
You wouldn't have to say it, but
Wouldn't
you'd
that be
have,
great?
But you describe what's
the
happening.
sales pitch is the vocals.
The sale? Can you
That's
just
the copy.
input the
the-
description?
The copy is just the description of the
description
amplifier from
with a-
Sweetwater.com. Those are the lyrics.
I want to do I want the rest of this episode to be us doing that. Let's go on there, man.
That would be so great.
Oh man, that would
Wow.
be good. That would be good. Well, we started a whole new episode here, and I am unprepared with my guitar jokes, so
Oh no!
I know,
guitar.
that's definitely not coming until
Yeah.
slightly later in this episode.
For the
Right.
world, the gap between these was a
was
matter of days. For us, it was literally 5 seconds.
It was 5
Yeah.
seconds. So this is, I mean, it's almost a part 2, but we're calling it we're
It's a
calling it a whole
whole
nother
nother-
episode. This is 43.
I mean, what are episodes anyway?
What are episodes other than?
Gosh, I could use
Uploads.
more coffee though.
Well, we can get more coffee.
We have an unlimited supply of Stoke
We already started though.
espresso. Hey, I just found out Flexbox. So a Flexbox, you can put text into, and then you can align it center. You can align it. It'll wrap if you want it to.
Suze, did you know you can put anything inside of a Flexbox?
I'm sure you can.
Even other Flexboxes?
What is
So
a
the
Flexbox?
whole Flex
You're talking about
box.
coding.
Well,
talking
you're looking for
we've
jokes, and I
accidentally
was
gone
like,
to coding.
I need a friend. I'm just in my house by myself, learning how to write all this stuff.
CSS is
So,
a hell of a
what
drug,
is a
man.
Flexbox?
Yeah.
What is a Flexbox?
So a flex box is a container
Yeah.
that you can put elements into.
There you go.
I'm trying to use the right language.
Yeah, you're right.
You put the elements into it, and it basically you can resize the window, you can move things around, and it will stay in whatever state you want it to. So align
You
to
can
the
tell-
left, align
you-
to the center. Or like,
Yeah, you can tell the content like flow this way, like flow from right to left, from top to bottom.
columns, rows.
Flow from left to right, from bottom to top. Flow only in the center.
Yeah. Allow, like we talked about padding, allow the padding to like
yeah.
change with it. So basically when you resize things around a phone or whatever,
Yeah.
like it.
See, you're learning this stuff. You're learning CSS at a time.
Yeah.
When I was learning CSS, none of that existed.
Oh, they've added it since.
Oh yeah.
Oh, interesting.
And
See,
so-
I'm not getting a scale for or like scope for
No,
that. Yeah.
all like Flexbox is like a relatively new feature of browsers.
It seems way better because we didn't start with it. He kind of did it chronologically or whatever. So that he's saying, "Hey, let me show you this new thing."
Yeah.
But it's like I don't know when that.
Because like back in the day, well,
Yeah.
because also back in the day we didn't need things to be different sizes because you were only looking at it
Oh,
on one. It was 1024 by 768. That was the only resolution there was.
right.
Now there's any resolution you could possibly
And
think
everything in
of.
between,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so now we need all these tools for content to
Oh,
flow.
interesting.
Hey, did you find some jokes?
Yeah, but I don't think anyone's still listening to this.
They're gone. Okay, if that was the most boring thing we've ever said on this podcast, I would be shocked.
Yeah,
you know,
it's not.
Really?
That was. Oh my gosh. I mean, we've had some long conversations about.
Hey, everyone, we're about to say guitar jokes.
What do Metallica fans say about the first 5 Metallica albums?
That they were the only good ones.
Nothing else matters.
Wow.
good.
I'm guessing that's a song.
That's good. What? It's an album.
Okay. Oh, is it an album?
That's a song.
It's a song. I
It's
thought
a
it was an
song on the
album
Black
too.
Album.
Okay, well,
You've heard it.
I know
Else
the
Matters?
song. Nothing else
Okay.
matters. Nothing else matters.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
good.
I just thought it was an album. I don't know.
Hold on.
I'm not doing
Ready?
Suze's. Oh, sorry.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you
I'll just
plug it
play
in.
it. You never heard that song? Nope. Okay.
never heard it.
On the 7 string.
I don't know.
Well,
Unplugged.
ignoring the 7th.
What do you do when you come home and find a banjo player running around in the backyard on fire?
Go back inside.
After you stop laughing, you put him out.
Some of these are, yeah.
This is an oldie but a goodie, but we've just never said any variation of this joke. But this is like, you'll probably know the end halfway through. A guitarist and bassist are arguing backstage, and the drummer walks up to them and asks, "Why are you fighting?" To which the bass player replies, "Well, the guitarist detuned one of my bass strings." Drummer says, "So what's the problem?" Bassist replies, "He won't tell me which one."
Good. I feel like bass players get the most brutal ones.
Oh, Suze.
That's
well,
actually so sad.
What can I get for $1? One?
Yeah,
You
no,
may-
the what can I get
yeah.
for $1 was great.
You may feel different after this.
Okay.
The
Why
greatest
did-
bass player on earth was
That's
the
what you
answer.
can get for $1.
Yeah. It begs the question, what am I worth?
Oh, gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Why did the guitar player keep a set of drumsticks on the dashboard of his car?
I don't
To
know.
practice drum fills.
So he could park in the handicap spot.
Dang, that's just
Okay.
offensive to everybody.
yeah, that's like just cruel. Harsh words.
Poor drummers.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't even a joke about being late. That's usually the joke with drummers.
Yeah.
Punctuality.
Yeah.
They have
I liked the how do you know the drummer's knocking one. That was good. It
Yeah.
was like, oh, and somebody added to it in the comments.
What was it? How do you know the drummer?
Knocking at your door. It was like, the guy added, he doesn't know when to come in, which I thought was really funny.
Oh, yeah.
And it's speeding up. You know, yeah.
It's speeding up.
I told
he
all the-
doesn't know when to come in.
Oh,
That's
what,
actually,
yeah. I was like,
that
that's
should've
really
been-
good.
I told all the vocalists in my church, we were backstage and I said to one, I was like, he said, "Good job, everybody. Good job, good job." And then somebody said something like, I felt a little like I don't know, like off on my song. And I was like, "Yeah, you were dragging like a lot." And then she was
How did
just
that
like,
go?
she's my friend.
Okay.
I said, "You were dragging a lot." And she goes, okay, like what do you mean, And I said, well, when you do slow songs, most singers have a tendency, because it's if they sing real, like in a very emotive way, they have a tendency to really fall behind the beat, and they really lag a bit. And I said it's natural, I said, but yeah, you just got to listen to the click. And I said also it's a lot. Sometimes we're coming from a faster song right into a slower one, so the click changes, and so they hear it. But and then they were like, oh, and then so then someone said like, "Do I do that?" And I said, probably. It's a thing singers do a lot. And they said, how do you not do it? Like, what do you listen for? The piano or the thing? And so you listen for the click, but also just tap your foot. It's very difficult to be out of time with yourself, So you hear the click, of course, but if you have a problem with it, just tap your foot.
You're hearing the click if you have it in.
Yeah. And I think a lot of them would say they do have the click in, or they can hear the piano. You can hear the thing.
The drums, maybe?
I told him tap your foot.
So many things are also keeping time.
No,
So
of
many
course.
things.
Yeah.
But you can be a little behind, and it's okay. You're trying to find every instrument can be in the pocket. You know what I mean?
Doing it intentionally is one thing. Doing it unintentionally,
Yeah,
right.
it's like
Yeah.
I didn't
Well,
know
and
I
I
was
feel
doing
like, that's the whole thing with the pocket, right?
Yeah.
Is that you're dragging, but only in between the beats somehow.
Right,
Do you know what I
right.
mean?
You can't drag all of them in a row, or else
can't.
you're off the click.
Yeah, I guess you're dragging.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to do it when.
So that's
Yeah.
deep pockets.
Deep pockets.
You
That's
know?
it. You got to get in those deep pockets. But that's the solution to every instrument. Is
Tap your
just
foot.
tap your foot if you're ever. You can't. It's very difficult. Be out of time with yourself. Drummers who can do like polyrhythms will tell you about it. That's how hard it is
Oh yeah.
to be out of time with yourself.
Yeah.
So just tap your foot. You know who told me that? My clarinet teacher in high school.
She knew.
Yeah,
He knew.
He knew. He knew.
50-50 chance.
These days,
Is it
it might have
50-50?
already switched. It might have already changed.
It should be, but it's not.
More likely to be a male clarinet teacher?
No,
No,
I
I
mean,
was saying
listen,
it's not a 50-50 chance.
It's a.
Oh.
I don't think it's a 50-50 chance in the world. I think there are more. I think the birth rate slightly favors women. But also, just when I said teacher, that would probably clue you in it's a woman. Most, that's a profession dominated
I feel
by
like a
women.
lot of band teachers are men.
That's true too. I don't know the
Yeah.
numbers on band teachers.
Yeah.
What do you call a band teacher?
Oh, here we go.
Soon to be unemployed because we keep cutting these school budgets.
Gosh, how true is that though?
Yeah, it's really sad.
We both had a friend who was a band teacher.
John?
Yeah.
A third John.
Third John.
Another John.
Third John.
It's first, second, third
That's
John.
the yeah.
Jude and then Revelation.
Oh goodness.
What do you call?
Well, these are just jokes off the cuff now.
Yeah,
off
no
the cuff.
phone
Just off the
even
cuff.
around.
What do you? Yeah. What do you call? What do you call the kid who gets an A in band?
I don't know. What?
Probably a decent student. It's probably
Wow.
pretty good. I mean,
Jerry Seinfeld's going to be calling you later. So you should-
What's
Where
the
do you
deal?
come up with the joke?
Where do you?
What's up?
Did you guys do band in school? Did you ever do band in school?
I did in grade school. Not
Like, what'd you
in-
play?
Snare drum.
Nice.
Just the snare.
That's funny because you told me your first instrument was the piano.
Oh, I've already done years.
you were
piano.
already in the
Oh,
piano.
yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh.
So snare drum. What did
Just the
you do?
snare.
Any other percussion? Did you have or was it just you were on the
It
snare?
was just the snare drum.
Because by the time you get to high school,
So boring, you guys.
because like
Did you do like rolls though? Or is it just
was-
like,
It like da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
there's no like double stroke?
you should have seen
It
this
wasn't
band.
drum line.
There was only 6 of us.
Right.
Okay.
So that trumpet, the snare drum, the
Yeah.
whatever.
I forget. You grew up in like kind of a small town.
It wasn't that
What
small.
town was
but,
that?
That was in Livermore,
Livermore.
Fremont, maybe.
That's
yeah,
not
small
small.
town.
Never mind, that's not
Yeah,
small.
there's like there's
But it was Christian.
tens of
schools,
thousands
so-
of people,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Livermore's got to have
100,000
like
people,
4
yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah.
By now, probably, yeah.
Well, by now, sure.
Yeah.
But probably then 50,
50,000,
60?
yeah.
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 But the Christian schools having bands was really funny because it was like
Yes.
my class was 30 people. You know, so it was like, wait,
Yeah.
6 of you play an instrument? Like, okay, cool.
Right. That's true.
I never did. What did I do? I never did band. I took piano
You were
lessons.
probably smoking in the bathroom, John.
smoking in
wearing
the
all-
boys' room.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I didn't do that.
Is that a Metallica song?
Yes.
Yeah.
Play it.
Who sings "Smoking in the Boys' Room"? Is that Poison or what is? Who is that?
I have no
I
clue.
can't think of who. It's not Poison, but
It's probably one of those bands that like you've never heard of.
yeah,
You never know the name
You
of
didn't
it.
even know they had it.
Yeah.
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 Scissor Lift.
Sure.
Could be.
Why not? That's a good name for a band, actually. Scissor Lift.
Yeah, I call that band name Scissor Lift.
I took piano lessons for a year when I turned 9.
Yeah,
Turns out piano is hard. Like
Yeah.
the barrier of entry of like, I want to learn how to. And my friend played piano and was very good at it at 9 years old already.
Oh wow.
He was playing
Asian
like
child.
no. Shockingly enough,
I somehow knew that was coming. Like I was just waiting for some comment from this side of the room.
no.
It's such a stupid joke.
Yeah.
That's what I'm laughing. I know. It's,
Right.
I couldn't help it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought-
So shocking.
I thought, don't say it. It's not even funny, John. I have
Well,
to say it.
The guitar jokes were teetering the line.
Totally. But anyway, so yeah, guitar came along, and I was like, maybe I should just play guitar.
Cooler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, I could like play stuff.
Did
know?
you find that the piano helped you a little bit, or was it not enough piano to like make a difference for you? I found that it was helpful.
My guitar teacher, my guitar lessons were really interesting. I already knew how to play chords. Mm-hmm. I already knew how to play some songs
From your
when
dad or
when I started
Yeah.
going to guitar lessons.
Yeah.
And so he did teach me some songs. It's like that's like a pretty normal thing, right? Like you bring in a song, hey, can you teach me how to play this song?
Yeah.
That's like what guitar teachers used to do. But then he also taught me a lot of actual music theory, which
That's good.
was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I had already learned some of it also from piano.
Yeah.
So, and how to read charts and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I think I've taught a lot of guitar, as you know, but I think that missing piece of not having piano sometimes is hard because they don't even know notes or scales, or they just know distances, or like this one's 2
Right.
frets higher,
Right.
and then this one's really far. It's like a different string, but they
Right.
don't think like there's 12 notes that repeat. It's like, what are you talking about?
Well, and it's also weird on guitar because there's so many different notes that are like,
Yeah, piano only goes one direction, up or down.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
Higher or
guitar. There's
lower.
like so many notes all together, and they're sort of haphazardly like higher than each other or lower than each other.
Yeah.
But with the piano, it's like it's
Yeah.
low on this
Yeah.
end and high on this
Yeah.
end. The only way is
you don't have to guess.
You don't
Is
have
that going to be higher than that? 100 every time. It
every
will be.
time, yeah. And by a very so yeah, the scales work out a lot better on piano and stuff too. But
Plus, piano's like, just play the white keys. You play it, there you go. You
Or
can't hit a wrong note.
depending on
If you're in
depending,
C, you just
depending on the key, just the black keys
Uh-huh, B
too.
flat,
works.
right?
Oh,
B flat, just the black keys.
Yeah.
well,
Is that right?
Nope.
There's one white key.
there's a ton.
Well, no. If you play,
There is a key.
no, if you
Yeah,
play,
there's only 2
if you
flats
play
in B flat.
B-
So like,
what is there's a if you play something like the pentatonic scale in one key, I can't. What is it? It would be, it's just the black
Oh.
keys.
I mean, C sharp is like all sharps,
would be-
basically.
Yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
uh-huh.
That would be it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. We found it.
So anyway, yeah.
See, I
did
went
you
the
do
wrong
band?
way. I went the wrong way. That's
the
why I
wrong
said
way.
B flat.
Yeah.
B flat.
In my head, I thought, well,
yeah,
you just
C, D,
yeah.
F. Those are all white.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. You're right.
I have like, I mean, I started learning piano a little bit recently. I was trying to teach my daughter some stuff,
Yeah.
and like learning how to play chords on the piano is very hard because there's really no limit to like where you stop.
Oh, well, if they're big chord, yeah.
Like you
long
can play
chords.
an A minor just has to have these types of notes in it,
Yeah.
but you can play them anywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I was never really good at like, okay, let's play an A minor over the next 20 keys. You know, it's just like, oh
Yeah.
gosh, like the whole like.
Right. Where on guitar, it's like an A minor looks like this, sounds like this always. That's it.
Yeah.
That's
You
an A
might play
minor.
at a different spot or something.
Yeah,
Right.
but,
and there's
like,
only a
yeah.
couple spots to keep
Exactly.
playing. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I feel like piano is much more open ended than guitar is, but then Guitar's just cooler.
But
Did you
I
do-
think the cool thing
If you're
about
listening to this podcast, you probably agree. Guitar is cool.
yeah, I think the cool thing now about modern like keys is like imagine you play at church. It's like if I also bring my laptop, it's like who knows what I'm playing.
Right.
Like if you have control of the tracks and the keyboard, it's like I'm basically playing a computer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows what I'm playing live?
I might have pre-recorded this. You have no idea what's going on over
I
here.
might have just hit play.
Bink.
It's like you know that part where you go like this, and it's like, yeah, I know that sound is being created from somewhere.
Yeah.
Right. There's a lot of like files containing like MIDI performances that you can download
Yeah.
of things.
Yeah,
They just
That's true.
exist.
that's true.
Make them sound like anything you want.
Can't do that on guitar. Guitar is by far the coolest instrument, right? Can we agree on that? I mean, not of every
Drums is
instrument,
pretty
but of the
cool.
modern instruments.
Drums are pretty
Yeah.
cool. I think like maybe hammer dulcimer is cool. Just kidding.
I think watching a drummer is the best instrument to watch. Like at a concert, like I just think like them going for it, like the emotion, the raw, like sweat, and just kind
Yeah,
of.
but they can't even stand.
They can. They sometimes do.
They do.
Barely.
Yeah, that's how you know they're into it. When
But
they
it's like
lift
standing
up-
on a jet ski. It's like you must sit to ride this.
That's the best is when
You
they
could,
only
you know.
stand on like the
yes,
count.
yes,
like,
right.
oh shoot, he's into this. Yeah.
But like a guitar player
He's
can,
hitting that floor to, or he's hitting that bass drum so hard that he's standing up.
Right,
on it.
like-
yeah.
think of all the things you've seen guitar players do while playing the guitar. It's like
spinning it
infinite.
around,
Cartwheels,
yeah,
flips.
lighting it
I saw
on
a guitar player
fire,
one time.
standing on it.
It's the
It
chick who's
happens.
married to the guy from Imagine Dragons. And I never told the story. Maybe I did. She sexually assaulted me one time at a concert I went to. And
Can you start from the beginning of that story?
What the hell?
she is the lead singer of Nico Vega. I'm a big Nico Vega fan. I love this band. She ended up marrying the guy who's the lead singer of Imagine Dragons.
Okay.
She's a wonderful woman on Instagram and a mother. If I could ever talk to her again, I would say, do you remember absolutely assaulting me in San Francisco
Wow.
at Bottom of the Hill in about this year? It was it was a craziest experience of my life. And no one has ever,
How have we never heard this story?
I don't know, I just never told it.
Well, let's
why?
launch
Why
in.
is it happening now?
Yeah, gosh.
I love.
43 episodes. You got to
Episode
save something for the
43.
later rounds. You know, you got to save at least
Oh my
one.
gosh.
So, I used to there was a music scene in San Francisco, and there was this band called Nico Vega. And the thing that was cool about them, I think they just made like a little comeback, but you know, they had some success and stuff. I think now she's a mom, and so I'm not accusing her of anything, but I've never been struck so much or had someone just put their body on me in public without my consent so much. I can't liken it to anything but other than a sexual assault. If it was, it's only not a crime because I was like, it was such showmanship and amazing to me that I didn't mind.
So, time out. So there you were, not being assaulted.
Hold on, how old
Then-
were you?
Then what happened? Yeah.
I was of age because I don't think I was 21 because I used to go to Bottom of the Hill a lot and get a stamp on my hand. And occasionally I couldn't get in. But and then after I was 21, I did start drinking there. So I get lost in the years. I'd have to go back and kind of look at the years or whenever. I'm sure the old schedule's on their website maybe. And this is a long time ago though. I'm 37 now.
Was
15.
It was like 40 years ago.
was she like performing?
Yes.
Were you
And
on
that's-
the Were you on the stage with her?
No.
So
She
she's
came-
on stage, you're in the crowd, and you were assaulted?
Okay.
What
Let me
happened?
just tell you
Okay.
this. Let me just tell you this. I have never in my life seen a performer like her. She had the spirit of, you know, the muses that called those Greek sailors to crash in. She was captivating. She moved like some sort of a superhuman alien. There was an amount of sensual sexuality to it, but it was also incredible. She was captivating. I've never been so enthralled in watching a person perform. She's one of the best performers I've ever seen in my life. The way she moved her body was just, and she had to do this because their band was a drummer, a guitar player who plugged into a bass cabinet and a guitar cab. And then
Charlie Hunter.
he played the most crazy stuff.
Okay.
Now they have a bass player that plays the stuff, but they didn't then. And First of all, I just want to tell you, I saw, because this is what reminded me of it. I saw that guy, and their shtick was kind of this. The dude would play drums and do some backup vocals. I think, did he do backup vocals? Can't remember. But the guitar player would often stand kind of stoic, and he would move a bit. But next to her, he seemed just like a pillar. And I watched her lay on the ground on her back, and with her legs, she had these tight pants on, like, so you could see, you know, it was like as you would if you were performing a dance or something, so you could really see the shape of a person. She's slender. Her legs, as she laid back on the ground, she crawled with her legs right to him. And somehow, you guys, crawled her legs up his body while she laid into a full, like, headstand while singing. Her feet are up at his face, all over his neck and his face, and she's upside down. You guys, she came from down on the ground, walked with her leg. I'm talking, she laid all the way down and just starts doing this to get over. Listen to me. It was the most. I'm watching this thing. I couldn't tell if I was seeing a god, like a demon or an angel. I mean, she was so. I was like, what the hell is this? And by the way, they were not the headliner, so I didn't know this band yet. And she crawled at him, and at one point, all of her weight is on her shoulders. Her feet are up in here. She had taken her shoes off. Her feet are all over. He's just playing the guitar, almost pretending it's not happening. And everyone is just, dude. And they had these songs, dude, and their songs were hard, dude. Like they would rock. And she could scream and yell, but she could sing beautifully. She has such a powerful voice. You got to listen to Nico Vega on the way home. Listen to a song called "Beast" by Nico Vega. And she did that, and we were just crazy. But here's the thing. I think the reason that was, I don't know if that was before or after she assaulted me. But
I was
here
going to
was
say,
the
it sounds
thing.
like he was assaulted.
He was.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
it was part of the performance.
I see.
At the time,
Hard to be assaulted when you're a willing participant.
Yeah, every night, too. He knows it's happening.
they were the support band, so they were right before. There were 3 bands that night. And I really wanted to be right in front for my favorite band, which I believe was Facing New York, where they were playing. It might have been someone else we were there to see. It might have been RX Bandits or something. I don't remember. So I was in the front, and I was resolute to stand there and not let anyone push me back. Because, you know, people would move and you get a shoulder in front of you. Pretty soon there's someone
Well, you're
kind of
3
in
rows
front of you.
back,
Exactly.
yeah.
So this is a bar, you know, standing room only, but it's a, you know, they hold a couple hundred people in there. And so I was in front like this, right in the center, the very center. I posted up there early. And so I think she came out and saw me like this. I'm not moving. I won't move. And I'm basically expressionless. And I think she was like, you know,
She targeted you.
look at this guy.
Yeah.
And
She's like, let's see what happens.
she
when
was
I
singing,
crawl
and
up
as I was
Challenge
and,
accepted.
and I'm still standing like this because I'm like resolute, but I'm watching her and I'm just like fixed on her. She walked on the speaker, she walked out in the crowd, but she came back and she just came up to me. She grabbed my hair, pulled my hair back. She started punching me in the chest while she's singing, grabbing my hair,
Here
pulling
we
me like
go.
this, hitting me in the chest like that. And I'm just like,
what the heck?
oh my God. I'm like, this is incredible and insane. And I'm just like, hey, I'm like, in my head, I knew these guys this is like world class. This is like, they're amazing. They're going somewhere. This is an amazing performance. And I had seen some amazing bands. Efterklang came through there. They're a great, like Swedish band. If you don't know them, like all these bands that we would see there would end up on Kimmel and Tonight Show. And a lot of them would go on. They, I think, didn't get as big as they would have been because I don't know.
They were hurting people.
Well, I think she ended up becoming a mom and having some kids, and I think she was
All the other people she did that to complained about it.
maybe
Right.
the
She was
Imagine Dragons.
She was sued a lot.
Well, I'll tell you more about. I'll tell you because there's another person who did something similar to me, but it didn't go the same way. She's hitting me.
Wow.
She's punching me. She then sits on the floor and puts her legs on me.
She does the whole upside down routine.
She doesn't do a leg. but
That's
she
her
puts-
signature move.
She puts her legs over me.
Oh,
and
gosh.
pulls me kind of in and starts like grabbing my head and like pushing me around like that. And then just
song, like singing
she
while she's
never
doing
missed
it.
a note.
Yeah,
She's
for
an
sure.
incredible singer. And then she would just like rolled backwards and got back up and started doing. I'm telling you, I was absolutely just entranced by her. I mean, afterwards I was like sore on my chest, you know, and my hair hurt, and I was just like, that was insane. But she got on me, put her legs and put her weight on me, and I was holding her for a moment, you know, and then she just like slithered back on the stage. She's absolutely one of the most amazing performers, women I've ever seen. I still don't know how to think about it. But I will tell you this. Another time I was at a similar show, and a chubby Filipino woman who was in a rap group, a rap trio.
Yeah, I could see it now.
And she, listen, I'm serious. This is real. This is real. This is real because we were watching some cool bands. There's an old band in San Francisco called Pants, Pants, Pants.
Sure.
And they were entertaining, but they were not very successful. But it was entertaining. And we used to go all sorts. I believe this was at Rickshaw Stop, in case people want to check me on this. But we were waiting for Pants, Pants, Pants. And this was some group. They were doing hip hop and stuff. And at one point, all three of the girl rappers were, I guess their shtick is they get on a dude's shoulders. Well, look, I already told you. I was, and so I think I might have been doing a similar thing. So she was by far the biggest of the three of them. I didn't work out like I do now.
Different diet completely.
She
Keto
came
was
up
not
to me.
popular yet.
She grabbed me just out of nowhere because they're like blah 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 blah, and then they like stop, the beat's going, and she like grabs me and turns me around, and I'm just like, oh, okay. All of a sudden her entire weight is on my body, and I just instinctively did not fall, push her off, because I start falling, and so I push her off, and she lands flat on her back on this hard thing, and she pops back up and just keeps rapping and going around, and I was like, I think I just power bombed that lady off of the stage onto the cement. She could be dead. Right?
Yeah. From the
I'm
stage
thinking,
all the way down.
Yeah, I'm thinking,
gosh.
what the heck? So
This is a story only HW can
that
tell.
was not as good an experience. But the first one, Nico Vega, listened to the song Beast, and I watched her. She crawled like smoke, like haze moves on the ground and then up in a pill. It was, I never seen anyone move like that. I still haven't. But anyway, she's married to the guy who's in Imagine Dragons now, and sometimes I see her stuff on her family on Instagram. Looks like she has a beautiful family and a wonderful life, and good for her. And if I ever get to talk to her, I'll say, hey, do you remember this, or was that just a thing? Did you just do that all the time? Because it was like and I bet she would say, oh. Whenever I saw, people in Farwood and look enthused, I would just mess with them. You know what I mean? Huh. And I didn't mean it as any sort of like, I don't care about this band.
You never did that in East
I
West?
routinely did that to people.
I could see it.
Yeah.
No, men
she's
don't
a good.
get
I mean, look. I mean,
you can't get away with that kind of stuff.
Here,
as a dude.
so you guys got to listen to this when.
Oh, we're gonna listen to it now.
No, we're not gonna listen to it right now. But look, this is her.
I mean, I would love to see video of this happening, but I fear that I will never find it.
This is her. And she was one, and you got to look up the early stuff.
Sure.
Gosh, I have no clue how we started talking about any of this.
Yeah. This is very.
That
This
was
is the
one of the
record. This is the
Wilder
record
stories.
that I would listen to too.
Okay.
And then
That looks right.
They have targets on them.
this is like kind of how they looked. This is a little more how she looked back then. Look, you see this? Imagine this. This is like. See, I mean, she was like. It was like. Janis Joplin and a gymnast and like the black smoke monster from Lost. Do you know what I mean?
I thought when you were saying that.
Yeah. It just
I love the saying that sentence and then following it up with, "Do you know what I mean?" Like, absolutely not. Like,
but go listen to Nico Vega. Incredible
totally. Been there
band.
1,000 times.
Totally.
Yeah.
I know.
Incredible band.
Right. Wow.
But anyway, I've never had anyone. No one else has ever struck me in public.
Over and over again. You were sore.
Yeah, I mean, it was like
crazy.
a lot. I mean, it was. I mean,
It's a really weird experience, man.
Yeah.
I think I know, but it was.
It makes me thankful that I didn't live in San Francisco
it was,
at that time.
There were wild shows.
I
and
wouldn't
stuff.
have done well in a situation like that. I feel like I would have.
Like responded differently.
Yeah, I think I would have not enjoyed that.
I remember watching
And
that
let her
band
know
though,
in some way.
the sound
Yeah.
that the three of them made was so huge. It was just so big. You know what I mean? The drums and the guitar that had he had another chord going to the low strings, and I don't know exactly how he was doing that. Maybe an extra pickup for the low strings or whatever, but he was just playing all fuzzy and big stuff. We'll listen to it after this podcast, but everyone should go listen to Nico Vega. Just look him up online. And this was like before, years later, like 2-3 years later, I saw they played on Kimmel. I was like, yeah, they're making it. So this was like early.
And she wasn't punching anybody on Kimmel, I don't imagine.
no.
Okay.
Did she slither up Jimmy Kimmel backwards,
Like smoke.
No, man. And you know what?
upside down.
It was honestly just the most amazing performance. It was. It was captivating.
Wow.
It was like how people say Mick Jagger moved like nobody else when he was doing that. It was like that. I was watching someone do something that I go, I've never seen anyone do this. I've never seen anyone do this. And she just like controlled this whole room, and I wasn't a fan. And then I walked away, huge fan. You know?
A changed person, really.
And a changed man.
Yeah.
Here's
seriously.
a question: What's the best live concert best concert you've ever been to?
Man, that's tough. I went to a lot of those shows like that, like what I'm describing. But
So you have a lot of like small venue, relatively unknown band experience.
I'm trying to. Here's what's going on in my head. I'm trying to figure out how those compare with sitting 30th row at John Mayer. You know what I mean? You're in
Exactly.
a giant place. I was like, I've seen John a couple times
Yeah.
at different times,
Yeah.
and it's like that's cool too, but it's very different.
Yeah.
You know, being able to touch someone and being able to even just it's this band who's maybe not that big, but you can see their pedal board and everything, or maybe they are a decent sized band, you know, and they are on, you know, those late night shows and they have a record deal, but they're coming through at a relatively small place, and you can get to the front of the stage, you know, because they're at, you know, a place that's like the equivalent of, you know, they're not at Bridgestone, they're not at, it's not the place is nicer than the basement, but you know, still places that only hold 400 people,
Right.
And you got to stand, you know,
Yeah.
so you can kind of fight your way to the front. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, you didn't really give me an answer, but
Well, I'm thinking.
all right.
He did say John Mayer. There was like that. That's obviously in the running.
I mean, John Mayer's really, really good live.
Good show. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And-
funny that you put these two like poles, you know, like this and this, or maybe you did, but that's exactly where my mind went to. It's either a really small show where there's
Yeah.
300 people there, or it was U2 at Angel Stadium. I was 8 rows back
Oh,
in
wow.
the center of the heart,
Oh, that's
and
insane.
he was right there, and they walked around me.
That's probably pretty.
That was magical for a lot of reasons. You know, it was me and Shelly, and then like 6 other people. Aaron was with us. So
Yeah.
it was just like, I'll never forget that night. It was just like
Plus, that was like, wasn't that like a Beautiful Day era too?
that
And, like,
was, I think 2011, 12, whatever.
Oh,
that-
okay.
what was
So it was,
happening
like,
there?
later
Because we
than
were,
that.
I think we were married by then. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, my favorite band.
They're like
in
one of
a
your favorite-
huge
yeah,
venue,
yeah, one of your
right
favorite
up
bands,
front.
yeah.
I had seen them like
Yeah.
from the nosebleeds, and this was
okay.
like a totally different world.
Right.
You know.
So but that's what I thought you would say.
yeah, yeah.
But
I'm gonna go ahead.
yeah.
But like Jimmy Eat World
Yeah.
in San Francisco, like
At the
when
Fillmore?
Clarity came out,
Yeah.
and
Where'd they play? You remember?
something American. Is there an American?
American Music
Great
Hall.
American. Yeah, that's
That's a
where it
good
was.
venue. I've
That's,
seen
it was
people there.
beautiful venue.
Yeah, it is
And
beautiful.
I barely knew the record,
Yeah.
and was
Right.
just entranced the whole
Yeah.
time, and was like, "Oh my gosh, these guys are amazing."
Yeah.
Then
There's-
meeting them after at the bar, like, "Hey, I really like.
yeah.
Oh, you like our music?" It was like nobody cared about them,
Yeah.
Right.
and I was like,
Yes, that's the thing, man.
and it was like, man, we were like having a beer together, and then I would connect that show, which was in 1999. I would connect that show to 2019 when I saw them on the 20-year anniversary of that tour, and I saw them at House of Blues in San Diego, and they played the record back to front. It was like that show and that show. I was like, dude, this is
Did they
what,
really
a,
do it
what
back
a
to front?
story. They just played the whole record.
From front to back.
Oh, sorry, front to back.
Okay,
yes.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
why?
reverse.
Why? I was gonna, why do they do it like that?
That was a good catch. They did it in order.
I was like, oh,
actually.
interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, but San Diego, Aaron was with me on that one too.
Yeah,
So it's just
right.
like all these memories get made with like one band. I've seen them the most, probably 6 times out of any band. But
I saw John. I'll say this is the one I'll choose. I've seen all those, like a lot of small shows, and we did have bands we would follow. And I 2 times drove to LA to see a band. You know, and one time I watched them in San Francisco, and then drove the next day to LA to watch them.
gosh.
Because one of the guys
both
was leaving.
made that drive.
Yeah, one of the guitar player was leaving to go join Taking Back Sunday, because the Taking Back Sunday guitarist had left, and this guy was leaving the band we really loved. And it was unfortunate because that band I thought was great, and then when he left, something was missing, you know, from the writing and everything. Anyway, but I have seen John Mayer several times, 3 times, and one time when I saw him, it was just on the John Mayer Trio tour. And I saw him at the Fillmore in San Francisco. And I would say that you could maybe fit 250, 300 people in there. Kind of fought my way to the front. I could see John's board, you know, all of it. And he threw a pick, and it went right to me. fell down, and I couldn't get down because it was so tight. So I put my foot on it because I was like, I'm gonna get it. So I stomped my foot on it because I was like, that's John's
An hour
foot.
later.
I'm gonna get it. No, this girl. See, I've been assaulted many times. I just remember that.
Wow.
This girl, she starts like reaching, and my foot's on, and I put all my weight on my foot, and she starts like pushing my foot.
What?
And try to push it. Yeah, she lifted my foot up, and I just thought, what are you doing?
You can see
You're
that I'm
being
standing here.
crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I just lifted my foot, and she just grabbed it and like ran away. That's San Francisco, man. It's a real, if you're not being like stabbed by the homeless people outside, you're being assaulted by John Mayer fans and Nico Vega lady inside.
Nobody hurt me at Jimmy Eat World. I felt fine.
No.
Yeah.
I've seen Jimmy Eat World live with you that one time in
Chattanooga?
Chattanooga.
Wait, can I say one more thing?
that was
I
an
wanted a
incredible
picture
show.
of John's board. So at the end, after everyone was clear, they're like, all right, everyone move out. And I walked up with my camera like this, and a security guy also came and grabbed me and pushed me back. So a lot of physical contact going on.
Man.
I just
People have
wanted
it
to
out
pick,
for you.
That's why I moved here. So far, no one has touched me without my consent in the state of Tennessee.
Assault has dropped to 0.
Zero. The assault rate on me has gone to 0.
The graph.
It's at record lows.
And stayed
lows.
there. Yeah.
Record
Yeah.
lows.
Yeah.
9 years later.
Sorry, go ahead, John.
No, that's crazy. I've never been assaulted at a concert. I don't know. I've had some really good ones. I've seen Jimmy Eat World. I've seen John Mayer.
Mm-hmm.
Both great experiences. Jimmy Eat World we went to is like a pretty small show.
Yeah, like a big
like-
square box.
Yeah, it's just
You
a
know?
big
Yeah.
box. But they were great though.
They freaking crushed it.
Yeah, they were very good. I don't know. One of the most impressive performances I've ever seen was Nickelback. And I know everyone's going to like
Wow.
hate that.
Didn't you
but-
say they sounded like otherworldly good? Like it was like, how does it sound that good in here?
It sounds like I saw them at the Pond in
Yeah.
Anaheim.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It sounded like they were just playing the record on the
Wow.
over the PA. It sounded identical.
Maybe a little Milli Vanilli situation here.
No, for sure not.
How identical. Like,
Yeah.
they were
Well,
playing the record?
No, but it sounded literally so good.
Mm.
And it was like shocking. And it was packed too.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. It was really great. But yeah, I don't know. I've seen like Journey and Dream Theater. Dream Theater was really, really good. But they had they had Mike Mangini, which I'm not a huge fan of.
Petrucci's way better.
No,
Dang it.
that's the drummer. Mangini was.
I was just guessing.
I don't know. That's fine.
All right.
They do have their original drummer back though. So
Oh, good.
when they come to town, I'm going to drag you guys to go see them.
I will go willingly. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's going to be great. But anyway, so yeah, I don't know.
I've seen a lot less live music in Nashville than I thought I would moving here.
Yeah,
And
me
it's just
too.
a phase of life I'm in. You
Me
know, we don't
too.
really go out a lot, but
I think that's true.
I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, Music City, like I'll always be at
The
shows.
spot I think that's really cool is the Underdog here. And it's where a lot of guys who are pros just go play randomly. So like Corey Congilio plays there a lot. And he's on YouTube, obviously, you know the channel, probably people know the channel, but he'll just go and it's like Wednesday night, I'm playing at this place, and they go play, and it'll be like him and Bukovac was there with
Uncle Larry.
yeah, Uncle Larry played there. I think he just played a couple weeks ago there. He doesn't play a ton there, but who's the other guy who's really who does lessons and stuff? Is
Guthrie
in town.
Trapp?
Yeah, Guthrie Trapp. Guthrie Trapp plays up there. They've got this thing called East Nashville Guitar Club.
Yeah.
And so like they do a jam night there, and it's one of them. There's also that guy, I can't remember his name. He plays at 335 on YouTube. Anyway, he's great. He's great. He's in town here. He does like some demos and stuff. But they all kind of like
I'd
just
like to see some local Nashville peeps.
yeah,
you know?
and I don't know what music they're playing exactly, other than I think they just get together, practice, and they like go like here, and it's just instrumental kind of stuff. Sometimes they play, sometimes they're singing stuff, you know, but sometimes they're just like playing music. I don't know.
We'll go Guitar Friends on location.
Yeah,
Let's go there.
We should do an episode from like Robert's Western World or something.
yeah,
Very Nashville.
very loud.
I
I've
do want to point
I've
out one thing about
yeah.
when you said impressive shows.
Yeah.
U2 is very impressive, but I think they're bested by Coldplay. Like when I saw Coldplay at the Ponds, you said the Pond made me think of it. I was just like, the video, the lights, like
Yeah.
the physical things in the room, like they dropped like down like balloons down that were like suspended and like they're like spinning with colors. Like the design of the show, not just them. But
It was like a
everything-
whole experience.
Yeah, the audio visual support was like
Yeah.
its own
Yeah.
huge expense, you know, which I really like. Like I feel like I'm in a movie or like in a full 360 experience rather than like seeing a band.
I don't think I've ever been to a concert like that.
Yeah,
Pretty cool.
it was like, more like a hats off. Like that was impressive, guys.
Right.
Like yeah. Anyway,
Yeah. Yeah. I just remembered I saw Weezer and Foo Fighters on the
When they were touring together?
Yeah, when they
Because
did
I
that.
went and saw them together too.
Yeah.
that's a great tour. I didn't see that one. But
I saw him at Oakland Coliseum, and I think I might have told the story in the podcast, but I saw him, and I remember there was a woman dancing all over Rivers, and he just played the guitar. And then if you look that up,
Was it the girl from Nico Vega?
no, it
There's
wasn't.
a strong theme here.
He at one point Rivers comes out and does like some acoustic guitar songs on this little stage and kind of in the middle. And if you look up online, because then they call that they have some nickname for that tour now, and apparently it was one of like the last nights or whatever, and it was a practical joke. Dave Grohl and the Foo Fighters guys had hired this dancer and got her on stage so that she would do this
Oh my gosh.
and not tell him, and he stoically just faced forward. And I remember thinking, this is very strange what we're watching.
Oh, they're like pranking him
Yes.
in front of the whole
in front
crowd.
of the whole place. They were praying him, and he didn't want to
That's
stop the
funny.
song.
Yeah,
you
right.
know?
Right.
He's a professional. He's like, I could do
yeah.
this.
He really is.
Wow.
They were very good
Who
live.
opened?
They would alternate.
Weezer.
They would alternate on that.
When
tour.
we
a
saw them,
co-headliner.
Weezer opened for
Yeah.
him. Opened for Foo Fighters. It was very good.
Foo Fighters show is hard to beat, dude. Those are high energy, man. Like
Yeah,
huge impacts.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, the other high energy show that I saw that really kind of knocked my socks off was Green Day. Seeing Green Day live was actually amazing.
Are they a 3-piece?
Yeah, I mean,
Like
in
live?
live they have they have
more-
they have like another guitar player and usually a keyboard player too.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. The early stuff is probably Green Day is like, to me, the early stuff is power trio.
Yeah.
As they get older, you start hearing other instruments. I think that's why they have the
Okay.
extra
Yeah,
vocal, you know?
yeah.
Filling it out. Yeah.
but
Like
also
Switchfoot,
like
Switchfoot. Once you could
yeah.
afford someone to play another
Yeah.
part, you get
Yeah.
some.
Get
Totally.
up here, man. Come
Yeah,
on with
right,
us.
right.
totally yeah, like they had and just like Billy Joe, was that his
That's it.
name? Billy Joe Armstrong.
Yeah.
He would like not play all the time. And so
Yes.
there'd be like another
Right.
guitar
A real
player.
front man,
Yeah,
like-
so he was really just on like choruses.
He's
and
like the
stuff.
worship
Yeah.
leader of that band. He reserves the right
Pretty
to.
much.
He's
put
like
up
a
his
version of a
hands.
worship leader.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
right.
Wow.
Yeah. It's
I'm due.
Jimmy World like that? They got an extra guy, like a utility guy.
Yeah, I mean they both play a lot of like he'll play leads and stuff like that, solos and everything.
But they have two guitar players, the lead guy, and but then
kinda
isn't there
both-
another guy who would play? No?
Oh,
Did you see that or no?
It's mostly the four of them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's four.
But they both shred.
Yeah.
You know, kind of go back and forth. But
Yeah. Who was it? When I saw 311 live had a lot more people. I think
Oh.
on that tour they had a lot more people. Incubus too. They had like more people.
Right.
But
I just listened all the way through Incubus. Now we can talk about this.
It's so good.
It's so good.
Make Yourself.
Make Yourself is
It holds up, man.
Yeah.
like
does it?
the whole
Yeah.
thing.
It holds up.
Well, there's like 5 singles on that album. I had forgotten.
Yeah.
But like so much of that was on the radio.
It's so good.
Yeah. He's a great singer, man. I had forgotten
I
the
know.
power of his voice and like his inflection. Like no one sang like
That's
him,
like
you
one
know?
of those when I listened to it recently, it's crazy how music does this, but like it instantly puts you back to like where
high
Yeah.
school.
like high school, like puts you back in those memories.
Yep.
And it was crazy that I literally knew every word to every song.
Me too.
I didn't even skip a beat.
And I was like doing drum fills with it and like playing it in my mind. I was like, man, that stuck for
Like,
20 years.
Yeah.
This conversation has made me
know?
remember concerts I have not thought about. Like I forgot that I
Yeah.
saw Weezer, and then even when we first started, I wasn't thinking of the John Mayer concert when I saw the trio so close to them.
Right.
I was
Yeah.
thinking of another one where you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh yeah, wait, I remember that one. I
Right.
remember this one. I remember.
All right. What's the worst concert you've ever been to that you were like excited to go to?
Okay.
Like what's the biggest disappointment?
The Filipino girl on my shoulder. That was.
Yeah.
Were you excited to go to that though?
I think for a moment I felt like it was a Nico Vega concert, and then I realized it wasn't, and then I threw her on the ground.
Yeah.
I bombed her onto the floor. You know,
I mean, yeah, I never threw the singer of a group onto the floor.
Trying to think. There's one that came immediately to mind. I'm trying to think if I can beat it, but the one that came immediately to mind was the Fray at Coors Amphitheater in San Diego. We drove. It was me and Tim drove down from Orange County to San Diego. Gonna make a night of it. Like this whole thing. Opener was great. The Fray comes on, and they were so boring,
Really?
boring. Just standing there playing their instrument, like singing, like, "Hey, thanks for coming out. You guys want to do
cares?
another one?" Like talking to each other. You guys want to do another song? Like just not professional.
Right.
And then like the background, there's a huge LED wall that was like, dude, this is gonna be cool. Like how they're gonna use this, and it would just be like a sunset. You know, it's just like the whole song, or like a car driving, and then like that was like 5 minutes.
They spent $1 million on an LED
and I was
wall.
like, oh, that's cool. I was like, I thought maybe they're not the most showmanship band, so this is going to help their show.
Right.
The whole thing was, we left early.
yeah.
We were the first ones to leave. I mean, we're just like, you want to get out of here?
I left early. A couple shows I left early. Okay, go. But that was mostly because I was so far back. I was in such a bad spot. It just was not really enjoying it, and it didn't sound good.
That will ruin.
You got to sound good.
That will ruin a concert when the mix is bad.
I don't even. I could just go on record. I don't know if it was them or just the room and whatever. I was in such a bad spot. Maybe I just wasn't feeling it that light. But I saw Dashboard one time, and that dude played the acoustic guitar and sang, and 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people. I don't know how many people were there. It was a big play. It was at the Orpheum in San Francisco. Everyone, all these chicks and everyone sang every song at the top of their lungs like they did.
Can't even hear them.
And I just didn't enjoy it at all.
I hate that
I wanted
crap.
to leave, and we left early. And I think he was giving the people what they wanted, but I wasn't like so bought into this religion of Dashboard Confessional like they were.
They were in heaven. The
They
ones
were
singing.
great.
Yeah,
They
that's
couldn't
what
get-
they wanted.
You know,
Totally.
I mean, I think in that, I mean, that's like a little ounce of like Taylor Swift kind of
I can
vibe where it's like
imagine.
so
For sure.
into that. I didn't enjoy it, but that's no shade to him. He was obviously killing it.
He's just doing a concert. Yeah.
That's like I saw. Shoot, what is her name? I can't remember her name now. Something Kelly, Tori Kelly.
Oh, yeah.
I saw Tori Kelly here with Mateus Asado on guitar. Her band was incredible. She was incredible. But these people that were sitting behind us were singing every word at the top of their lungs. And it took everything in me not to turn on and be like, can you shut up? Like I paid a lot of money.
Exactly.
I paid $100 a piece to come, $150 a piece to come sit here.
Right.
We saw her at the Ryman. It was like incredible venue.
Yeah.
And I was just like, man,
The Ryman is. I don't enjoy music at the Ryman. I'll just say,
Really?
you're too packed in. The seating is too packed in. It's not
it's like a church because they're all like church pews.
now comedy at the Ryman. Very much enjoy.
Oh.
I've seen several people do comedy. I saw Tom Segura, and I saw who's the old guy with blonde hair, who's like
Jim Gaffigan.
yes, Jim Gaffigan.
Yeah.
I saw both of them at
The Hot Pockets guy.
I saw both of them there.
Heard it.
And even I bought like one seat, and they put the seats so close. They put like some chairs right in the middle because it's that shape. It's the church pews. But if you get church pew seating, they put you way too crammed into the pews.
Yeah,
it's
they
ridiculous.
Yeah, they all assume that you're like little 17-year-old people.
And then and there's no asking people to like me. You know what I mean? You get like a big guy. It's like where
do I go?
You're touching each other. Yeah. And then
No thanks.
and
Just, like,
then
right up.
yeah,
Oh,
it's
gosh.
bad. I hate that. And then, but I did see
No
I did
one
see
wants
some
like
comedy
full
there.
thigh
Yes.
contact to strangers.
It's like warm in there too, so like a little sweaty. Maybe someone doesn't smell that
Yeah.
good.
It's not good, man.
Yeah.
But I did see comedy there both times. I paid for the seats right in the front that are chairs they put out.
okay.
But even those, the front row is like it's like in your face. Like you have to like look like
can't
this
see 'em,
to
yeah.
see over the thing. It's like weird.
Yeah.
It's I just think the seating there's terrible.
I would love
but
to go see Tom Segura live.
Yeah.
He is hilarious.
He's
Not familiar.
He's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's a bit spicy, but it's hilarious.
yeah. He was doing a Spanish
Spicy's
tour
good.
for a
It's a
while.
bit spicy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the worst, best and worst.
Yeah.
Show. Who would you love to see now? Like if you could see anybody,
Did it have to be alive?
he could be dead.
No, let's do a lot. Let's do still could
I don't wanna
possibly
limit your
happen.
choices. I mean, you're not
No,
going to
but
say like
it's
Ben
like-
Franklin or somebody.
Like a Michael Jackson would be like out of this world.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like just to
Yeah.
watch him do his thing.
I
He's the king of pop.
He's the king.
I don't know. He's probably a pedophile.
Yeah. Say what you will. I don't know the character of most of these artists. You know, like what they do behind the closed doors. I
It's
like
funny,
their music, John.
It's
Yeah.
hard. It's hard for me to get behind. I see what
Yeah.
you're saying. No.
Yeah.
I
just
mean,
like
look,
to-
when I was I mean, you know, we grew up at the same time. We're the
Right,
same
right.
age. When I was growing up, it was like Michael Jackson was literally the coolest
The
person
biggest
had
I mean,
had
yeah.
ever walked on the planet.
Dude, he had a movie.
He had-
Captain Emo, was it?
Yes,
EO.
EO.
Captain E. Yeah.
because it was
Captain
at
Disneyland. Yeah, they had their Disneyland
Yeah.
ride.
whole. When you have a Disneyland attraction made just for you,
Yeah,
like that-
that's
as an
great.
artist?
Nobody does
No.
that.
yeah, unless you're Dolly.
I've been to a place in Germany that literally has a statue of him.
Incredible.
Sure.
It's like a 35-foot tall
Yeah.
statue of
What
Michael
color
Jackson.
is the stone, John?
It was just a concrete like statue. Why are you asking me?
Doesn't matter if you're black or white. Is
Exactly.
that where you were going?
Well, his hue
Oh.
changed a lot over the years. I was just curious how they depicted him.
I didn't know where
was just
to go with
curious.
that.
You know, it's just curious how the,
Yeah.
Yeah, which era
You know,
did they
yeah,
pick?
which-
you know?
yeah.
Yeah, totally.
For sure. Yeah, I'll go with him for Dead, but
All right. What about
I'll think about it live.
Concrete's actually good. Concrete's kind of two different colors, whether it's dry or
There you
wet.
go.
So
That's more,
it's
yeah.
kind of
so
appropriate.
they're kind of accurate either way.
kind of an appropriate
I
thing.
don't know. If I could go see someone who's not alive anymore, it would be Stevie Ray Vaughan. I would love to see Stevie Ray Vaughan live.
Yeah,
That would have been great.
Gosh,
you know?
that's a good
Like in
choice.
his heyday.
Yeah, like in his
Yeah.
heyday.
Yeah,
You know.
like been there at Austin City Limits.
Oh, what a great
and he
experience.
just
that
like, I got tickets to this like TV show, and they
Right.
just sit you down and you watch.
and he
him.
just shreds your face off for an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Assaulted with tone.
Assaulted with tone.
yeah,
Yeah.
Wow.
man, that's a good choice. I don't know if I'm going to be able to top that choice at all.
Yeah. I mean,
even
for
close.
guitar players, for sure.
Yeah. To
The only
see
reason I thought
Stevie.
of that too is that I listened to him recent. Like my daughter was wanting to hear something. I can't remember, but we were watching. I was like, this guy, this guy was the best there was.
You can't leave my house without hearing this. Like it's my job to show you
Yeah,
this
totally.
music. Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
man, that's a good choice. It's a good choice. Anyone alive or dead? So I knew a guy who saw Jimi Hendrix. He's an older dude, and I knew a guy who saw Hendrix live, and he said I went and saw Hendrix alive when he was touring. He said I saw him in I don't know somewhere in California, and he said honestly he just turned around and faced the drums the whole time. And it's funny because I had heard stories that Jimmy would turn around at certain parts, and people thought it was because he didn't want you to know how he was playing, what he was playing. And so maybe there were parts where he'd be making weird sounds, you know, or whatever. He'd turn around. And I don't know what era this was. I don't know if it must have been early. I don't know. But he said, yeah, Jimmy he said it was not a great show. He turned around the whole time. We looked at his back for most of the time. He was like, it sounded cool. And so, I don't know. Maybe I'd love to see Hendrix live. That would be kind of an experience. But, man, if I could see anyone, like, I'm going to say this. I'd like to go back and see one performance that I think is really iconic and cool. And I used to watch this performance, but I kind of wish I could see it live. I used to watch this performance on the Woodstock DVDs. And it's basically the performance that made Carlos Santana. He was a relatively unknown guitar player from San Francisco, and he got the call to come play Woodstock. And because he played next to all these iconic people, it like set him off, and he became Carlos Santana, who played at Woodstock, and then his whole career kind of goes from there. But he was not,
Not already well known.
not at all.
Really?
Played an SG and a little, and it was, he didn't have a boogie yet or anything like that.
He wasn't playing the Carlos Santana custom PRS yet.
He was not.
Who's that?
And at the time, he plays with a drummer who I think is 14 or 15, who was the fill-in drummer. Like they didn't have his full band, but he drove to get to Woodstock, went there, and then they kind of had some parts of
It's
his
just
band.
like the original Woodstock.
It's the original Woodstock, yeah. So they like remastered the footage and everything, and you can get it on DVD. You can see it on YouTube. But there's also a naked man in the front row, and whenever the camera pulls back, you see his bare butt, and he's holding a sheep.
There you go.
And
You would like to be that man.
well, I would just like to be there. It's just such a vibe in the air where this 14-year-old drummer, he does these insane, and he became a famous drummer. He became a drummer that everybody knew for years after, and he's probably still alive, must be. But but he plays all these solos and they have him take over and everyone's on drugs. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what they're doing, but I think right before the concert, they're like, hey, just everyone, there's some bad acid going around. All right. We got a lot of people in the medical tent. There's some, it's on the DVD,
It's
the
on there.
announcements.
Yeah.
They're like, also,
Just
there's going to be a lot of, like, there's new bathrooms. They're cleaning the they're making the announcements. It's all captured there.
Yeah.
And at one point it pulls out, girls in there just like playing this SG, just sounding crazy. 14-year-old drummer going wild out in the heat. And it pulls back and there's a naked man with a sheep. And it's just like, this
What
is
a story
crazy,
that
man.
is.
This is a crazy.
I'm gonna have to watch that one.
It's just like, what a crazy
Yeah.
time.
I want to see the sheep. I want to see the guy holding the
Same.
sheep.
What a
Santana and
crazy
Nico
time
Vega.
in American history.
That's my like cue for
That
later
you're-
on.
yeah. Later
Goodness.
on. I don't
Here, I'm
think
going
I'll
to just
go
pull this
listen
up
to
right
Nico
now.
Vega.
Santana.
I might skip it.
Curiosity's not killing you on that one.
I've listened to stuff that he's recommended before,
Yeah.
and it's usually not my.
I will spend up to 25 minutes looking for the clip of that show. Like if I can find a bootleg or something, not
So this
any
is the
longer
show,
than that.
and this is the kid.
No longer than 20.
This is the show, and this is the kid. And find out what happened. Anyway, there's a lot of this stuff, and you can see.
You know, like well, I guess I just won't find it. Like at the very end,
Totally.
it's like you
Yeah.
just give up.
what
Yeah.
are you talking? What?
I was just saying, like my cue for watching after this podcast is Nico Vega and Carlos Santana.
Yeah,
which
you
is
got to
wild.
watch that. Look at young Santana.
Oh, he is young.
You know, he's young, dude. This was where he got discovered.
Look at that afro.
And
Yeah, the hair is on point.
yeah, dude, look at that. You
It doesn't
know,
even look like Santana.
at one point he just stops playing guitar and plays the maracas. I guess it was such a part that was needed.
Why not?
You wouldn't think,
Wow.
but yeah, dude.
You got a sheep holder? You got a picture? He's in the front, right?
You got the sheep guy.
Sheep guy. Woodstock.
You know, there's a story there. Like he was naked all
How did he
day.
have
Like
the sheep?
Was
Where
the
did the
sheep
sheep
there
come from?
with him? Is that where they stayed there? Right? Like they were sleeping on.
Well, look, killing
tents and
animals
stuff.
creates killing of men. I don't know, but look, there were sheep there for some reason.
Oh, and he found
There's a lot
one,
of hippies there.
Yeah.
and
a lot
he
of
held
hippies.
it. He held that sheep.
Look, this guy.
Sure.
All right, we're gonna find this later. We're gonna go look him up. It looks like he's identified. Anyway, we'll find it.
He created a moment. You
I'll
know.
show you guys.
Is this
Hoffman.
1969?
Yep.
This is like the
I think
famous one, right?
Woodstock '69, man.
Was it Beatles or no Hendrix or what?
Hendrix was there.
That was
Hendrix.
a big one.
A lot
Hendrix
of people.
was there.
I almost said Emerson, Lake, and Palmer, but no, it's the other guys with 3 names. Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young. Graham Nash's daughter delivered both of my older 2 boys.
Didn't see that one coming.
Mm-hmm. She's a midwife in San Francisco.
Well, good Lance.
Wow.
I'm trying to think of like a current band that I haven't seen that I would love to see.
You want to know mine?
Yes, I do.
Metallica. I've never seen.
Never seen them.
I've never seen Metallica live, and they're getting older,
Interesting. Yeah.
and they're like kind of going downhill. I've seen some stuff live lately that's
Yeah.
like, ooh, you can't really play all that. The you know.
That
But
makes
it would
me
be
sad
such a
too.
spectacle to see.
Yeah, I think it's better to see them late in life than to not see them at all.
Exactly.
Let me just say this.
You know.
It is possible that the sheep is not in the Santana performance. It could be from another performance of
We're on
another
different
artist.
pages
but
right
it's
now.
all, yeah, I'm telling you, it's on the Woodstock DVD.
I believe you.
But you got to watch this. Watch this Soul Sacrifice,
Mm-hmm.
Santana, or Evil Ways will probably sound good. But these are the 2 songs. You got to watch this. This is before he did Europa or anything else. And these guys are just...
Didn't Carlos Santana start in Journey, or like wasn't he related? Isn't his story connected to the guy from Journey,
Neil Schon?
Neil Schon?
They're both from San Francisco, so I wouldn't be surprised
I
if
feel
there
like they're
is something
connected somehow.
that could be connection. But
Yeah.
yeah, he was...
Maybe
Woodstock was really his
Neil
big breakout.
Schon was played with Santana for a while. I can't remember. man.
That could be.
Yeah.
Santana, I believe, I don't
like
think
the
Journey
same
started in
age.
'69. Santana is getting his
All-
big break in '69, so it's possible that Neil Schon maybe
Played
played with
with-
him for a while,
Yeah.
and then Journey started. I don't
then
know,
Journey started, I
but
think
Neil Schon's in San Francisco. I don't know if he's always been. I know that because where I used to get my guitars at a place, and Neil Schon's guitars would be in there, his guitars would be in there, Satriani's guitars would be in there. That was when there were 2
Satriani.
Plek machines in the United States. One was San Francisco, one in New York.
Oh, really?
And it was like, what is this?
Now
This
there's a-
machine that now everybody,
No, there's a lot.
yeah.
Plex.
I thought of two people. I was just scanning through my
Wait, what are we doing? Sorry, I was
artists.
thinking about the sheet.
We would want
People who are alive.
Oh,
current.
Who you would want to see.
I wouldn't say these are like going to blow you away or anything, but I'd love to see Keith Urban.
I've seen Keith Urban.
I really like his music. I think his show would be amazing, like just watching him like shred and stuff like that.
Can I tell you what Keith Urban is like live?
Sure.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
One of the best. And I remember I saw him with my sister, and I turned to her. She's like, "Are you enjoying this?" And I said, "This is the best sounding music
Yeah.
I've maybe ever heard. Like
Yeah. I believe
mixed
it.
perfectly. His tone was incredible.
He's like expensive, like country rock. You know what I mean? Where it's like,
Yeah.
And I have not seen a lot of country shows. And so it's just, I would love to see that caliber of like soloing and playing
Right.
at that level.
Yeah. Phenomenal.
Okay. Well, that's good. Can we go together?
I would love to.
right.
I would love. And country's not even my thing really,
Yeah.
but like,
I want to be a little well-rounded though.
yeah.
Like you see, big arena rock and then you see little indie rock. I'd love to see some big country.
Yeah, big country's good.
The other one is Sting.
Oh.
I never saw Sting. I'm a big Sting fan. Police. Like I
really?
just really love his catalog. I think he's a good songwriter. I think he's just a cool person. And so he's kind of getting up there in terms
Yeah,
of
he's
like
getting up there.
Aaron saw him last year, 2 years ago
really?
in Nashville.
Oh.
It was like the day or after 2 days later, he was like, "Yeah, Sting was incredible." I was like, "Thanks for the invite."
I know. What the heck?
I was mad about that, but
I
anyway.
would be too.
So if he comes
Not
around
even
again,
a mention like, "Hey,
Yeah.
Sting's in town."
if he comes around again, I'll pay whatever to go.
Yeah.
To go see him. So he, like I was gonna say, he's one of the ones that's like, yeah, if you don't see him now, you're losing your opportunity.
That's
like,
what I remember.
go.
Some friends of mine in high school went to see the Rolling Stones because they thought that would be the last time they'd be able to get to see them.
It turns out.
Turns out,
You know something?
turns out they kept playing for another
Yeah,
2 decades.
You know how Sting, you know how Puff Daddy copied on "I'll Be Missing You"? He copied the Sting soundtrack or whatever. They settled out of court because they sampled the song. Years later, Sting is asked in an interview, "Is it true that Puff Daddy pays you $2,000 per day from the royalties?" That it worked out
Right.
to $2,000 per day all those years later. And he said, "Yeah, it's true." So much money. So I believe he got a significant portion of that. Like, I don't
Right.
think it was a small amount because I don't know
Wow.
I mean, it's the whole song.
the whole thing.
I thought it was a collab.
Yeah. I mean, it like,
It was a sample, and that's
Yeah.
what they were doing at the time.
4-minute sample.
yeah.
But it's just that little bit of his song, but then it played over and over and over. It's just a small sample of his song.
Oh.
Do, 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 do,
Oh, it's
do,
not the
do,
other
do, do,
chorus
do.
and all that stuff. Like, doesn't do that.
No.
No, it just is a sample, and then it.
and I think
I
in
guess I didn't pay attention.
the Puff Daddy song, it's like there's not really much of like a verse chorus
like
thing.
rapping over
it's
it,
like
yeah.
rapping and then it's
Well,
the same
there
thing.
is, but I think it continues the whole time. Faith Evans comes in on the chorus.
That's what I mean.
But it's the same.
the riff is playing.
Yeah, the
for
whole,
the whole
time
song
through the whole
I see.
time. Yeah,
Okay. Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, that
Dang.
seems illegal. Can't really do that without permission.
It's funny. Back then, it was like there was kind of this gray area about sampling and stuff, and
Yeah.
yeah,
a big part of
Well,
that
I mean-
song.
it's weird. And that was early on, like in the late '90s, when a lot of that sampling stuff really started to go mainstream. There had been a ton of samples before, but it's not like Funkmaster Flash or whatever. Funkmaster. Who's the beast? Funkmaster.
From the Beastie Boys? Is that what you were about to say?
No, the guy from
Mr. Beast.
No. Yeah, I was gonna say the Beastie Boys. Is it Funkmaster Flash as the DJ or Funkmaster Flex?
I'm thinking Grandmaster Flash.
Grandmaster Flash. There you go. There you go.
But then there's also Funk something.
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I can't. Anyway, Grandmaster Flash. So I was saying,
All right.
those guys were sampling soul and stuff, soul and dance stuff. Even the Bee Gees have they were sampling disco and dance, anything like that.
Yeah.
They were doing that in early hip hop, just making a beat and then people,
Right.
But in the late '90s is when it started to be.
It started-
Some of them
it
started to
wasn't-
make huge. They were #1 records.
Well, but
sampled
also
from another record.
Also, like you look at like Daft Punk, right? Like
Yeah,
they sampled
yeah,
a
yeah.
bunch of stuff. But when you look at how I've seen videos where it's like, hey, here's the actual original song that they sampled, but then here's how you get from what the sample is to what Daft Punk did
Right,
with it.
right,
And
right.
it's like there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
It's not
And P.
the
Diddy
Puff
made-
Daddy thing
yeah.
was just like, oh, let's take this guitar line and make a whole song around it.
But that's kind of
It's
what they were
like-
doing. Remember, he did that with Hendrix too, with the da 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 on the Godzilla soundtrack.
Oh, the-
it was Kashmir.
Yeah,
But then it was everything was with permission. He was big already.
yeah, he was
Yeah, yeah.
and like because I remember because Jimmy Page was like in the music video.
Yes. Well, because
He was
by
aware.
that time, he was probably hired to do a
Yeah, he
song
was probably
for,
hired-
for,
yeah.
for Gojira.
Gojira.
Not for the band Gojira, but for the
oh,
monster
yeah, the
Gojira.
monster.
Uh,
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Isn't
That's
that
pretty
wild?
I like the idea of like all of the sampling stuff is I don't know. It's pretty interesting how things have changed. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of funny because it's a topic that is coming up. So, I mean, I think that was a little more cut and dry. You took a piece of audio and took it and reproduced it, and it's like the driving part of the song, and it's so recognizable. We all know what that is.
Yeah.
And I think that's why P. Diddy was doing it. That became his thing. Like, let me sample some old and it's something new, and people would hear and go, I know that. Oh, it's a new song that, you know, and it wasn't hiding it or anything. I think that first one kind of set it off. But it's funny because this is coming up with AI right now, where
Oh, yeah,
there's a
big
lot
time.
of question on what does it mean to take someone else's work and make new work? What is a derivative work and what is not?
Right.
And it's funny.
There's a lot of lawsuits right now.
Yeah, the questions coming up is like, if you and I take in a bunch of records, we take it in, and then we make an album or we make a song, and you go, oh, that kind of sounds like Jimmy. It sounds like Jimmy Eat World. That sounds like Jimmy Eat World. That has like a Jimmy Eat World vibe. We would never say Suze owes Jimmy Eat World money.
Right.
for influencing me.
But right now, for music and for image generation, AI is taking in all this stuff, and where a lot of places are coming in, even OpenAI is drawing the line right now at, if we make a derivative work from the things we fed the AI, that is a derivative work. In my opinion, I go, it's not a derivative work if you give it to a carbon-based intelligence that's naturally occurring in the world, but it is if you get it from something else. And I think there's like kind of this, there's some people who look at it, go like we've said on this podcast, like, what's ChatGPT doing? All it's doing is statistically guessing with a lot of certainty the next word that should appear.
Right.
It doesn't actually understand the language. But who are we to say that understanding is then a derivative work, whereas our understanding is not a derivative work? Like, we all learn the same way what word should come next because we mimic speech that we've heard. You and I don't debate what word should come next in this sentence that I'm speaking. We hear it, we learn what's correct, and what is correct begins to sound correct to us.
The problem is though, and the reason I disagree with that approach is because it's not someone who is taking in inspiration
Yeah.
and learning their song. I mean, I just said, hey, on the last episode, how do you like to practice guitar? I learn other people's music. That's how all of us did.
Yeah.
My guitar teacher used to say, if you're going to copy somebody really good. Right. Don't copy somebody that sucked, copy someone good. So that's why people learn Stevie Ray Vaughan and Jimi Hendrix and Carlos Santana and all of these players. The thing with AI though is that it's not AI is not a person taking in a thing and creating things for themselves. It's a company making a tool.
Well, any AI, I mean, someone else like Grok is doing that with their AI called Grok.
Right.
But that OpenAI is drawing the line there, and they're basically saying we're going to pay the New York Times to input all their stuff. Also because they want to be able to serve you, so that if you ask OpenAI, hey, tell me about this, that they're able to openly say,
Right.
here's this, and also here's an excerpt from a New York Times article. They want to be able to deliver to you kind of the answer to your question in a way that they can incorporate sources and things.
That makes perfect sense.
But they want to take in the New York Times. They don't want, basically what's happening is New York Times said, we're going to sue you because we know that you've been inputting our stuff.
right.
And they're sort of like, okay, no problem. We'll just pay you. We'll pay you for putting us in. I think they have a couple of reasons. One, they want to set a rate. And eventually, what's probably going to happen with inputted works in AI is going to be like what happens when you cover a song, right? it's a group that's gone to Congress that passed a law that determines whether if you and me record Kashmir right now and we put it out, we can do that, but we have to pay a mechanical license fee, and they really can't stop us, because it's been released, it's out there. So, but that rate that we have to pay, like the rate that like Spotify and Apple pay and everybody, those rates are negotiated, and the mechanical fee is determined by the law.
So they're
and
predetermined, right?
Yeah, so it's not really up to the person. But AI doesn't have this problem right now because there's no legislation on it. There's no organized body.
Still.
Yeah, there's no group of publishers that is able to do it. So they're kind of setting a line in the sand, I think, to say this is what we think it's worth. And so they're paying. New York Times is happy to take it, and they are taking it. And other people will sell.
I think
their data,
that makes sense though, because New York Times is not producing art, and then ChatGPT is producing more art in response. They're taking in information and distilling it for you.
Well, but writing those things out and like
searchable.
kind of like gleaning an opinion or, in a conversational way, like an editorial piece is art. I would say an editorial piece is just as much art as like a piece of fiction or literature.
Could be. Yeah. That's fine.
It's a persuasive essay.
I get that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
There's something that doesn't rub me the right way when it's like, we're just going to pull in every photo in existence without regard of who took the photo or why it was taken or whatever. We're going to take in every song that we can. And the way all these companies have done it so far is they're just like, well, let me just take in as much data as I can get my hands on, whether I ought to be doing it or not.
It's just weird to me.
And then ask for forgiveness and start paying out later when I've, you know what I mean? That doesn't seem right to me.
I guess what's weird to me is like, if I ask AI produce for me a picture of the Giant of Kandahar,
Solid.
It would give me a photo, and I could not, and it would look like the Giant of Kandahar. It would look like something, but I would not be able to find a photo where it pulled the beard or the eyes or the nose or anything. But I would be able to find probably tens of thousands of instances where some attribute of this photo was similar to an attribute of an existing photo. But I just wonder then at that point, where do we cross the line between like, if I'm inspired because I've seen a bunch of images and then I from memory draw it, to me, if the variance in that process, if me looking at 10 images and I'm an artist of the Giant of Kandahar and then I draw my own, and you would see how clearly I looked at these 10, right? In that many of its attributes are right there. Maybe even I copy the style. To me, I go, well, if AI produced a picture and it looked at 10,000 or 100,000 photos, but I can't see that it's a copy of any one of these things, at what point do we draw the line and say that is derivative, but it's not if I do it? Meaning, like, if the inputs
I understand
are the same,
what you're saying. It seems like what you're saying is it seems like a double standard.
Yeah,
humans are allowed to take in information and
do
create
highly derivative work, and it's not a derivative,
right?
Yeah,
and it's actually a derivative of a much smaller set of things.
Yeah,
I have not seen 10 billion images that I remember well. Do you know what I mean?
I think the issue is we can't really usually ascertain what data set a human is pulling from because we don't have a record of it.
Right.
They have their experience in their brain and and sort of this subjective what they like or don't like.
But I feel like the thing is though, again, is that it's not a person in the world doing that. It's a company doing it for profit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that's, I think, the difference is that it's not a person in their bedroom being inspired by Jimmy Page, right?
Sure.
It's a company using the works of someone else for their own profit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it does. I guess in that way, I would say it doesn't seem that different than a company hiring someone to produce things for their own profit where that have looked at other things. You know what I mean? Like a...
For sure, but then you still have to have, I don't know, it's also like, how else could it be with humans?
Well, exactly. And I think that's the basis of why we know it's silly to think that any of us, if we create art, if we don't take something and sample it. You got to like prove like you copied this.
Right.
And if it just sounds kind of like, it's like, whoa, that sounds like Foo
It's like
Fighters.
remember a couple of years ago there was like that Dua Lipa song that were
Yeah.
like people
Yeah.
were like, oh, this is a total ripoff of this other song.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And they got sued, and I think they won because
Yeah.
they're like, look, this isn't the same thing. Or maybe, I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah, and Ed
This-
Sheeran just had that big court case where he sat in front of the jury with a guitar and said, look, it's these 4 chords. I didn't copy from anybody.
Right.
Let me play you all the songs. He played those 4 chords and he sang to the jury 10 songs that they all knew.
Right.
Trying to show them that like, and they won, and I think he won that case saying, I didn't copy anybody. It might sound close, but here's why: all music sounds close.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? All
Right.
pop music is very like
Right.
musically close together. It's not
Right.
Pat Metheny world music.
I think the reason
It's
it,
full circle.
It's all, you see that?
yeah.
That was insane, guys.
But I feel like it, I don't know, man. I feel like the
The
AI crosses a line because it's not a person receiving art from the world and being inspired themselves to create more art. It's a company consuming as much information as they possibly can and producing a tool for other people to buy or
Yeah.
pay to use.
Yeah.
And that's how, and then they're going to directly profit off of it.
Yeah.
It's not inspired. It's not appreciation for the love of the artist. It's a means to make money.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I feel like that is disingenuous. And I feel like that's the difference.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like when you first learn how to play Stairway to Heaven, you get fired up because it's fun to learn how to do that. And then you're trying to chase that feeling. Do you know what I mean? And so you end up writing your own songs or whatever.
even if you make no money doing it.
Even
just
if you
for the
make
love
no
of
money
it.
doing it. And, most people do make no money playing guitar,
They love it. Yeah.
but they still love
As
it.
we've seen from the jokes on the show, they're mostly centered around that theme.
Right.
It's sort of that. It's they're mostly about being broke.
Like, shockingly enough, I have made almost $0 in my life
Right.
playing guitar.
That's so funny.
I've made a lot of money doing other things.
Yeah. Wow.
Very little playing guitar.
yeah. Yeah.
I think overall I'm in debt on guitar.
Sure.
But
Like you've spent more on the hobby than
I think so.
generated.
yeah.
Wow.
anyway,
Yeah.
that's my thoughts. I don't know.
Yeah,
I've been
I don't
talking
know.
about this with different people a lot lately.
It's interesting. It just to me, I don't know the answers. I just
I don't. I actually hadn't considered the idea that's like, well, why is it not a derivative work if we do it? Yeah.
I mean, people look. This happens all the time. When you do sync music or whatever, you get hired to do music. It's often with instruction. Like, we need a song that sounds like the Foo Fighters for this
sure.
commercial.
For
It's
sure.
got to be 2 minutes, blah blah. I had one buddy who his whole project, they said, we want a song that sounds like this, and it was a recognizable tune, but we need it. But in the commercial, it's going to go from the 50s to the 60s to the 70s to the 80s. And he was like showing how this peanut butter had been popular this whole time. And they wanted the style of music to change with the same tune.
Sure.
And so his whole thing was make something that sounds like that, but you got to make it because we don't want to pay for the license on that. That's too expensive, but we'll have you do it. And that's that whole world is like, make a derivative thing that reminds listeners of that other thing, but that legally we don't have to pay for.
It's far enough away where we won't get sued.
Yeah. Far enough away they can't prove we copied it.
Right.
But I don't know. I'm not saying that's wrong. It's just it's
See, that
I
to me
don't-
feels wrong. That to me feels like, I don't know, just pay for it.
well, it might be too expensive. I mean, they might not be able to
Yeah.
put a thing, so it's like, give me something that I don't know. But they do stuff like that, it's like, I need a song that's, Van Halen-esque, and but it's got to be, it's hard, might be even hard to take Van Halen and make it fit because you're gonna have to edit the audio. You know what I mean? Like, it might just be easier
No,
to
I
just
get
go
it,
like,
for sure.
it's got
Made
it's
work,
got to be
yeah.
a 22-second thing, and it's got to end and what.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's like, if you notice too, I watch a lot of people and I watch a lot of different kinds of things on YouTube, and you'll notice a lot of recurring music on people's channels
Yes.
because they've bought
yeah,
the rights to use this one song as much as they want,
Yes,
and so
yes.
they always use that.
and they download it.
yeah,
Yeah.
So
And
they always use
keep it
that
right
one
there.
song.
Guitar Friends is on.
No, you do see that. You do see that.
Yeah.
You see it on everybody's stuff.
Because my point is, it is expensive to license music.
Yes.
You know.
And YouTube even gives you free music that you can use.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
and
like
then-
public domain music.
Yeah, and then you can, and Artlist is what I use, you know.
Yeah, and
You can put on
Artlist is
stuff.
a good one because you kind of pay one fee and kind of use different things. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's weird. Like, you know.
We're in uncharted territory for sure.
We really are.
With
We
this
really
whole
are. This
AI
AI
thing.
thing is
Unprecedented.
uncharted.
I don't know. I just want something to be precedented.
Come on. When are
knew
we going
this
to get
was
to these
happening.
precedented times?
Yeah, this is just like we thought.
I want everything to go exactly the way we thought it
Right.
would.
At some
Right.
point, it's like, I think the uncertainty is precedented,
Yeah.
right? It's like the uncertainty of the future is actually always.
We knew it would be crazy,
Yes.
Right.
And
Yes.
it did.
The only thing we expect is the unexpected.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
and there are a lot.
that's true.
Precedented.
pretty wild.
Suze, are you using any AI in your coding journey?
Not yet. I'm sure something will come up.
So
do it.
this is something that might interest both of you. There is a video going around TikTok, and it is. I'll have to try and find it and send it to you guys sometime. But basically, it is a gentleman who is on a live interview, and it's a coding interview, and so he has to explain back, and they're sharing a screen, and he has to explain these answers back. He's also running a program that listens to the guy's voice and gives him a script of what to say back, and it answers the questions in real time. So he's looking at what to say on a screen. So he's at that point, he's basically reading a teleprompter.
So let
And-
me get this straight. So,
It's some sort of a technical interview.
right. So if you're interviewing me, everything you say is getting fed into an algorithm and the responses are being generated. And then all I do is read the response.
Yep. And then the person who's interviewing you live on
Is unaware of
on
this.
Teams or
Is unaware
whatever,
of this happening.
is totally unaware that you are that the answer you are saying is being generated by AI and then read aloud by you. You're faking your understanding.
It's not your original thought.
And so his thing was they were answering some questions about these sort of some sort of boxes where you would store user passwords and sensitive information or whatever.
Okay.
I don't know anything about security. And he was answering the guy, and he was like, it also, I think, helped that the guy doing it had a very thick accent. Maybe he was from South Korea or something. He was also speaking in a way, you could tell he has a thick accent. You could tell that English is his second language, which I think also probably allows him to get away with maybe a little less eloquent, choppier speech.
For sure.
Because the guy listening would not be able to sort of ascertain, that's a strange way to phrase it. You wouldn't really hold someone who's
He's thrown off to
Yeah.
begin with.
English. When you speak with someone who's like, you can tell English is a second language, you're not that alarmed when all of a sudden they choose a word that's maybe less typical.
Right.
Yeah.
Or an entire phrase.
Yes, a
that's
whole
less
phrase,
typical.
or they
Yeah.
drop a word, they drop an a or an or
Yeah.
the. They just drop
Yeah.
those, or maybe they'll put in an extra the, like whatever.
I work with
Yeah.
I work. There's people on my teams that are from other countries.
Yeah,
I deal with this all the time.
Yeah. And You hear stuff, and it's not hard to listen through.
No.
it just passes your brain, And so I don't know how much of it is that. I don't know how much that's. But he answers the question. The guy's like, "That's exactly right. Great. Yes. Yeah. He's like, "You're right."
Okay, so he like essentially passes the interview,
It looks like he's doing very well.
and then what happens? That's it.
Then it
Open-
crashes and burns.
Open-ended question.
Basically, the description is like.
Did he get the job?
The description is like, I don't know, but the description is basically like, even this doesn't work anymore. Right. Like even now, the thing that exploits the face-to-face interview is someone being able to read the script right there.
Right.
So now you will have a false positive.
Right.
Because it will false positive. Your interview process will false positive for someone who has this skill, not the actual skill you're looking for.
Right.
And people who have this skill will now gain the system, or they'll work at this skill, which is reading a small script and running this program. And
Yeah.
there you go.
Here's the thing, though. Here's why this doesn't scare me.
Go ahead.
That guy, if he gets that job,
Yeah.
how long will he keep it? Like, how long can he possibly keep it? Now, here's the deal.
Yeah.
Could he Frank Abagnale Jr. his way through and actually learn how to do the thing enough that he can con his way in, but then actually be good at it? Right?
Yeah.
Can he do that? Maybe that's possible.
Yeah.
Right? It's improbable though. And so, and that's what it's like.
I'm not in this world, but from what I'm seeing online, this is my hunch. From what I'm seeing online, what I'm seeing people say, I think we're in a time where this is like it's super widespread that there's organizations that are just so bloated with people we don't even know how the productivity of all these companies could be so much higher. They have so much manpower. They have no real process inside to even determine who's being productive and not. And I think you asked how long could he keep this job, and in my head I'm going 5 to 7 years. Like
No.
it might be that he can be in a. But what if it's such that he can produce code using AI that it sort of passes the sniff test?
Then no, but then his manager and his manager's manager should be fired.
But what if they're all working about 20 hours a week?
Still.
I mean, I think there's a lot
Look,
of times.
I'm not a guy that
yeah.
puts in 40 hours a week. We've
Yeah.
all kind of figured this out.
Yeah.
Right.
We're here doing this podcast right now.
We're here doing this podcast. We're here on a Wednesday afternoon. I've been here for hours, right? Hopefully no one that I work with watches this. But no, it's like, look, I get that. But the thing is like, it's easy to tell, like, oh, this person, it's just, I don't know.
Dude,
it would be easy to tell, and even me who doesn't, it's not like I have some, deep care about the job my company does and all of, like, I don't.
What about my buddy though, who had 2 jobs coding remotely?
Yeah, but he knew how to write code. That was a skill
That's
that
true.
he had.
That's true.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's other ethical implications for having multiple jobs.
Well, I guess here's the question. Do you think some of these jobs that you could get are at the level that AI can perfectly sort of do all the tasks you're being asked to do and explain it to you and do it?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No. Unless unless it's like
Entry level coding position for a place that builds.
no, man, because unless you're in like people think remote work is like, oh, you just hop on for meetings and then like that's it. It's like, no, we're like talking about how to build stuff. We're like interjecting solution. You know what I mean? It's like a team effort. Like, I don't know, if we interviewed some guy on the phone and like asked him a bunch of guitar questions and then he was doing that and he was responding, and then we got in here and we gave him a guitar, we'd know in 5 seconds that he wasn't a guitar player.
Yeah.
I would even venture to say we would just hand him a guitar and he didn't even have to plug it in. We'd be able to know whether he's an actual guitar player or not.
Yeah.
Right? Because we know what it's like. And so, yeah, for someone
What
who...
if you know, like, what if you have, let's say you have the equivalent of a 12th grade education, right? Can you fake your way having a master's degree? Like, can you reach up that high? If you're a smart guy who graduated high school and you're using AI and you kind of know a little bit about this, can you fake your way that you have the level of, I went to school and I have this certificate in this and a specialization in security and this and that? Because I got the feeling that's kind of what these things, he's basically asking how you would build something for the purpose of security, for handling these tokens. I don't know what it was. I'd have to send it to you. But do you think you could fake your way up several levels that would result in maybe double your pay? By you, if you know enough to know the basics, and you're using AI, could you fake your way to that?
Yeah, that's the thing. You would have to have some base understanding of what you're doing.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe a junior person who knows how to write code. And I'm just using code because I know that.
Sure.
Maybe someone who knows how to write code could interview for like a senior. I don't know though. I don't think so.
I even saw this one. This was a while back, but I saw this.
It might work for a little while, but not forever.
I saw this guy who had 4 jobs.
Yeah.
But his wife had 3 of them. And
right, they were in her name.
3 of them were in her name. She did all the
But he did the work,
meetings,
yeah.
and then he would sort of like keep an eye on it, listen, look at the email and stuff, and then he would write the code and send it back. And,
Right.
And they.
I feel like if you can find a good, like very transactional employer who doesn't really care about working together, doesn't really care about, it's very transactional. Yeah, you could get away with a lot.
And I think where that exists is probably when you're the technical person at a non-technical company. So you're at a technical company. You guys are a SaaS company. Your expertise is the software. Like it's your bread and butter. It's what you monetize.
You'd think.
Okay, fine. Yes, but my point is,
No,
what
I
do
know
you
what
guys have? You have contracts with MLSs. You have access. Someone sold that. Someone
we-
pitched
no,
that.
we-
Like someone's
we have-
really good at that.
Yeah,
part
we
of it.
have a lot of.
But your
very
thing
smart
is
people.
and the cost of goods is the R&D cost, right?
Right.
And the costs, right? So, and it's, you know, we write code, we write the software, and then we sell the software,
Right.
So we're not hiring, you know,
No, but if it's
bakers
like, yeah,
to hire
I work for some other multinational company, and this software that
Yeah.
some internal software tool.
but imagine you
Doesn't
are,
matter. You
but
could-
imagine you're Flying J, who runs.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, you're like a distribution for all of these gas stations that you also license your name.
Right.
And so your expertise is around handling petroleum products
For sure.
and shipping them around. And somehow you're the IT guy.
You could fly. You
not
could fly
IT, but
under the
you're-
radar doing
Yeah.
the software.
And you're supporting this system they have that does this and maybe this other thing,
Yeah.
thing. And it's like, can you skate by in one of these? Because,
I don't know.
you know,
Maybe
I don't know.
it's true.
I don't know.
It's possible. I
TikTok's
don't know. There's
making-
only one way to find
I
out,
want to find it. TikTok's
We're
making me
go-
think
we're
you
going
can.
to.
and I think that means that I should do this. I should try this.
How long until the AI is so good? Because there's also a YouTuber who fully digitized his image and he started making all his videos. It was just AI generations of himself.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Wait, is it like photorealistic AI?
Yeah.
Oh,
You
really?
can kind of tell it's AI because it's a little blurry when his mouth is moving. You can
And his
tell there's
fingers
some.
do weird things.
How long
All
until?
6 of them.
Yeah.
All 11 fingers that come in and out of existence.
How long until you go for a job interview and there's some doubt that the person you're talking to is not a generated video AI that you're also speaking to, answering questions for you? That there isn't some sort of
Yeah.
thing that they've plugged in and it is generating an image, generating a voice,
I'm gonna go.
answering the questions.
I'm gonna go one bigger than that.
Because you've heard that you've heard what was early Gemini making the, answering, ordering Chinese and making the appointments on the telephone.
Yeah, yeah.
That was years ago.
Right, and the people
Yeah.
on the other side had no clue that it wasn't a real person.
No idea. And now we've seen image generation, but they don't sell you anything for $49 a month that does all this. They don't even sell it to you for $2,000. There's really no service that does all of these things.
Right.
Kind of in one thing that you could just go run this on your computer and it'll schedule job interviews. You know what I mean? And get a job. Someone's doing that though.
Yeah.
DARPA is for sure trying to get fake humans a job right now. And I bet Facebook, because they have Zuckerberg, already is working on anti-AI tech to make sure that nobody. What if the Russians?
Wouldn't it be great though if you did that?
Mm-hmm.
You could have like 100 jobs yourself.
And what would they're all so productive. Why would we need humans to work? And then we need UBI.
Wow. I just realized how late it is.
Yes,
I gotta
you gotta
get
get her. All right. It's almost 6 here.
Oh
All
my
right,
gosh.
Guitar Friends episode.
I'm surprised my wife hasn't been calling.
I know. I got a text over here
Guitar Friends episode 43.
in the bag.
Good to see you. Was this 43?
It was.
It's 43. I've been HW.
Also,
Serious.
just tons of messages from work too.
They're watching the podcast.
Yeah. We're on to you, John.
All right,
Oh, well.
later.